Welcome back to another guided meditation. The theme for this session is making space or allowing space. Often in the project of meditation or of mindfulness pursuit, we tackle it in the same way that we've been trained or conditioned to pursue everything else. We're very goal orientated, we're very outcome orientated, and as a result, we're kind of urgently stepping towards what we expect to encounter. This can happen in social situations. This can happen in a conversation with someone. It can happen when we're busy working on a project where the results are a little bit elusive. Or in our own lives, actually, when we're trying to bring about a certain state of attainment, achievement, comfort. And so often it takes a backward glance, sometimes sometime later or years later even, for us to realize that the challenging moments were actually where the growth happened. That the lesson was spelling itself out quite loudly, actually, even while we were embroiled in the frustration and the disappointment of not getting where we thought we needed to be, or squeezing out of the moment what we expected to find and encounter. So what we're going to do is we're going to consider the modality of our breath, and we're going to use our breath almost to confirm something, say something without words. And what we're going to confirm or say throughout this, and this is something we can do outside of this sitting, is Amen. So be it. This is how it is. It is a confirmation of acceptance, of allowing. It is a way that we can enter into the conversation and move more deeply into the conversation that is already unfolding, which we can often stand outside of in this urgency and this sense of expectation we feel. And it's very simple. It's just a deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. And the tone and the nature of the breath in and the breath out, let's see if there's a way that we can make that appropriate to the tone of the moment or the tone of the understanding that arrives in the moment. So for a small, gentle realization, it can be a gentle breath out. For something that evokes a lot of nervous sensation or a lot of arousal in our nervous system, I use a few pumped breaths, like for the out breath. And you can do it quietly in a room without making noise, without taking up space. It becomes, you'll notice when someone does it, you will notice it, but it doesn't crowd the plate of the moment. And it is the subtlest way that we can connect with our truth and with the way that we are experiencing the moment. Especially if we're experiencing it as a full participant instead of this mode that I discussed a minute ago, where we stand too close and we overshadow what is trying to unfold. So let's begin with another deep breath. And remember, every single time we express ourselves through that breath, we're saying a version of Amen, so be it. This is as it is. And we're standing fully inside that allowing and that acceptance. The breath is a very powerful, telling form of expression and engagement. There's a saying, your breath is your first truth, which has a couple of meanings. The first meaning is when we first arrive in this world, extremely vulnerable, through an experience what must have felt like death, a quite traumatic ending to the way we had been, and the alarming arrival of a sense of newness that we are completely alien from, and our way of belonging utterly changed, and we have to start again to discover a new way of belonging. And we of course don't have a map, and we don't have any sense, and the little life that arrives has no skills, no context. All they have is sensation. Many years later, we're sitting here now, and we can re-encounter that kind of newness, but from a much more empowered position. We have context. We can extrapolate meaning from things. We have very detailed predictive models of who we are, how we fit in the world, what is happening around us, but still allowing for that newness and the sense of not knowing and not being so certain, and just allowing the moment to arrive and allowing a disappearance inside of ourselves, so that this part of us that leans too far forward with the hand already outstretched, shaped in the way as if it knows what it is going to encounter or pick up or collect or push away, maybe is resting, open and still. So if we close our eyes and sit comfortably, lie down if we choose, and just be here for a moment. The only thing that there is to do, perhaps, is a noticing of what is here. It helps to put down these urgent projects of what we think meditation and mindfulness should be. It doesn't really matter what we've been told before. In fact, it's actually helpful if we can challenge that in a way, and challenge it in the ultimate way of challenge, which is to just let it go. No judgment, no decisions yet. Just for now, put all of that down. Everything we think we know about meditation and about mindfulness. Leave it at the door. Just lying here or sitting. Our breath, uncontrolled, just doing what it does. And notice the sensations of sitting, the contact that you're making with the chair or the cushion or the floor. Notice these sensations in your body, any arousal, warmth, cold, pressure, whatever is present. And just see, like we watch parents watching their children play, especially if the child is not doing the thing that is intended with the toy or the game. Parents have the habit of trying to instruct the child mid-play. The child is engrossed in the game, not particularly struggling, just having their own experience. And there's this impulse in the parent to lean forward and to guide the child. No, you're doing it wrong. Do it like this. And notice that energy that you can recall when watching that. And notice the same energy in yourself, a part of your subconscious, or your default way of engaging with yourself as you engage with the world. This narrative that maybe isn't in words, that maybe is just in energy, or a stance that is always leaning over the moment. And as with that parent, if you could wave a wand and allow their energy and their stance to ease and to set back and allow them to notice the play of the child in the moment, or the moment unfolding exactly as it is. How might we tell that overbearing parent inside of ourselves, assure them that it's okay, and allow them to step back and just observe and be present with what's unfolding? We can do a casual inventory of our sensations and our feelings. And we don't necessarily have to name them, because the further back we stand, we can just feel them. We don't have to recollect them later. We don't have to explain them to anyone. We don't have to categorize them. We don't have to understand what their implications are. There's nothing to do. There's no problem to solve. There's nothing to remediate, nothing to fix. There's nothing to avoid. There's just being here, present with what already is. And that includes background noises, disruptions. Sometimes our forehead is itchy, or we need to clear our throats, swallow. All of those things are just happening. And there is no rule set which we need to uphold now, which says that those are not allowed in the context of meditation or mindfulness. Everything is allowed now. And how far back can we get this parent of our overbearing mind just to stand back and watch and trust? And in your own time, when these moments of realization land for you, just lock it in with one of these breaths that say, Amen, so be it. This is how it is. Maybe become aware of the sensation in your feet, what it feels like to have 2 feet, what it feels like to have 2 legs, what it feels like for them to join at the hip, what it feels like to have a stomach, the sensation of our skin all over our body, the rise and fall of our chest when we're breathing, Our breath is the way it is. Our breath is our first truth. It doesn't need to be any way. And when we've used the breath to make this acknowledgement, we can let it go again and let it be its own truth for a moment. I like to point out when people are meditating and coming to stillness, the taste that their tongue has in their own mouth that has been there all the time, that we've only noticed just now. And in the same way, there are a dozen things which are not clawing for our attention, but which are present. And we don't need to notice them. We don't need to have a judgment call about them. It can simply be interesting to understand that there is a huge depth of rich experience always available, presently right here. And can we be still with that truth? Can we be okay with just sitting here or just lying here? Of course, if we become distracted, it always helps to simply begin again. Just connect with the intention. The intention was to recognize space, allow, step back, was to notice this energy present in our conscious mind, this aspect of ourselves that leans forward like an overbearing parent, and just gently invite them to step back, step away, ease off a touch, and put down all of the expectations of what this moment should feel like and what should be happening. Can we just listen to the sound of silence in the room, broken by background noise, and try listen to this throbbing space or silence in between the sounds? Can we notice the stillness inside of us that exists in between these peaks of intention and expectation and urgency and story? How still can we be? Leaning away and allowing, resting back. When the silence goes on too long, we start worrying that we've missed something, or that the session's ended and we haven't noticed, or there's been some technical problem. That is exactly the questioning, problem-solving mind we want to give a break. Noticing the discomfort we feel in space and in silence, like there's an expectation that we have to fill everything, that we're not doing something right or meeting the moment right. When we do this, we notice a sense of space opening up inside our experience, inside our conscious awareness. And we become connected with this idea that the aim of mindfulness is not to force a state of stillness and peace. It's to acquaint ourselves with the pre-existence of the space and the stillness that exists when we stop trying to force an outcome from the moment, by simply allowing whatever is the way that it is, even ourselves and our nervous systems, to show up exactly as they are in the moment. Because it's in that state of stillness where our perception is less easily confused by the energy of a signal, so we can pick up the message in the signal, in the now, and we can belong more fully to the present moment. You're welcome to stay in this space as long as you like, and you're welcome to consider the reality that this is something you can come back to almost effortlessly, again and again and again, just by reminding yourself that there is this possibility of stepping back and allowing, and not crowding over the unfolding moment. So I hope you've taken some value from this session, and thank you for your time. And I hope to see you back in a future session. And until then, take care.